On this episode of the Turnbuckle, Jeff Hardy's license has been suspended for 10 years and the DUI case has been closed. We've got huge storyline plans revealed for Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens ahead of a WWE live event. And Spectrum Cable lists AEW x NJPW Forbidden Door 2 for June 24th. Folks, we're in your favorite wrestling move and some wrestling news. I got it right this time because it's time for the Turnbuckle. The Florida DUI case involving AEW roster member Jeff Hardy, dating back to June 2022, was closed on Thursday after he submitted a written plea of nolo contendere to all charges. Hardy's license will be suspended for the next decade, and he will get 38 days credit for time served in county jail as part of his sentence. Nolo contendere is where a defendant agrees to accept punishment but does not accept or deny responsibility for that in which they are charged. Hardy was arrested on the morning of June 28th in Florida and was charged with one count of DUI, his third offense, one count of driving under a suspended / canceled / revoked license, and one count of driving while his license was restricted. He pled not guilty and faced up to 5 years in prison for the main charge, while the others were misdemeanors. I don't know about you, but I'm just glad to know that this is finally over and done with. I mean, listen, if anything is going to come out of this, at least we can say, that he is not getting behind a wheel anymore, so we don't have to worry about him, potentially putting himself or other people in danger. So that's good, right? I mean, listen, it's silver linings, I guess. I know that there's people out there that, okay, because he's not going to jail. He's not going to jail. He's not going to jail. No, he's not driving anymore. That's good. We don't have to worry about that anymore. Does this mean that he's going to be back in AEW? I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see. But other than that, I mean, listen, if he's not going to jail, fine. But this is a good alternative. At least for me, this is a good alternative. Next, we're going to talk about huge storyline plans for Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens that are revealed ahead of a WWE live event. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn had a will they, won't they moment earlier this week on Raw as Zayn offered an olive branch to his friend of over 20 years, apologizing for siding with the Bloodline during Owens' feud with Roman Reigns. Zayn even admitted that he needed Owens' help to end the Bloodline once and for all. However, much to the dismay of fans in Ottawa, Owens rejected Zayn's peace offering while reiterating what he told Zayn back in November. "I still mean everything I said after Survivor Series. I told you I was done with you, and that stands today." There's some good news for fans hoping for a Zayn-Owens reunion en route to WrestleMania. According to a local ad listing for an upcoming Road to WrestleMania live event in Toronto, Owens and Zayn will wrestle the Bloodline's Reigns and Solo Sikoa at the Coca-Cola Coliseum on March 4th. It's worth noting that the arena's Twitter account has been advertising the Tribal Chief for several weeks, but has yet to announce Reigns' opponent for the house show. The ad could also prove to be a spoiler for the events that could transpire on this week's SmackDown, where Zayn and Owens are advertised to appear. There's also the possibility of WWE workshopping the Owens-Zayn reunion storyline at a WWE live event before bringing the same to television, a tactic that the promotion has utilized previously. Although conventional wisdom hints at Owens and Zayn challenging the Usos for the undisputed tag team championships at WrestleMania 39, the recent dynamic between Jey Uso and Zayn is something to keep an eye on. Jey has repeatedly refused to strike his friend despite the insistence of Reigns and the rest of the Bloodline. WrestleMania is 6 weeks away. That's a long time for you to build this up. You don't have to do this now. You don't have to do this you could hint at something this week, but you could do this next week and then a little bit more next week. You can build this up incrementally. You don't necessarily have to do this all in one go. So I don't think that we're gonna be seeing anything gigantic transpire over the course of the next couple weeks. I think the closer we get to WrestleMania, the more this story is gonna open up and blossom into something. So we're gonna have to see what Jey does with everything. And I feel like a broken record, but bro, this is gonna end up being one of the most compelling storylines leading into a WrestleMania in a really long time, actually. Man, the last storyline that I can really think of was the Daniel Bryan one. We're just gonna have to see what Triple H and the rest of the writers and what have you have in store for literally all of them, Roman and Solo and all that. So we just gotta see. Finally, we're going to talk about Spectrum Cable and how it lists AEW x NJPW Forbidden Door 2 for June 24th. Spectrum Cable may have given away the date for AEW x NJPW Forbidden Door 2. The company's pay-per-view listings have the event scheduled for Saturday, June 24th, 2023. The first Forbidden Door took place Sunday, June 26, 2023 from the United Center in Chicago. Last year's Forbidden Door featured Jon Moxley defeating Hiroshi Tanahashi for the interim AEW World Championship in the main event. Jay White also retained the IWGP World Championship in a 4-way match against Adam Cole, Kazuchika Okada, and Hangman Adam Page. Shortly after the event, Tony Khan spoke to NY Post about the future of Forbidden Door events and noted that he hopes to keep them in North America. He said the idea of doing an event in Japan with AEW stars and New Japan stars is very potentially interesting, but if it happens, it won't be Forbidden Door. Forbidden Door is going to stay in North America. It wouldn't make sense with the time zones and the revenue. AEW would have 2 pay-per-view events before a second Forbidden Door show takes place. The company has AEW Revolution on March 5th, 2023 from the Chase Center in San Francisco and the annual Double or Nothing show on May 28th, 2023. Ring of Honor will also host a pay-per-view on March 31st, 2023 from Los Angeles. So this is obviously a big deal because it tells you right off the bat that AEW and NJPW are willing to give this another go-around. It also tells you that there's a potential chance that we could get the matches that we didn't get on last year's pay-per-view. And it's, I don't know, to me it just sort of begs the question of, like, is this going to end up being like a yearly thing, you know? And could this potentially blossom into something else? Because I feel like, to me, this feels like like an appetizer, you know what I mean? Like, it feels like we're starting with Forbidden Door and we're potentially gonna like evolve into like something else. We're gonna get like a different, you know, we're gonna get like the main course, you know what I mean? I don't know though. I don't know for sure. I can't see into the future, but if this ends up just like staying what it is now, I'm not really gonna complain. There's a bunch of different matches that they could do and like build for, and you could potentially build to like maybe having AEW putting superstars in the G1 climax, but listen, I don't know. I can't really make that call for right now. At least it's a bit early. So, okay, listen. We can't sit here and say that this is a confirmed date. Maybe this is the confirmed date, and who's to say that they're not going to change it? I wouldn't put it past them. If you ask me, I wouldn't put it past them to realize that they've been rumbled and the date's been leaked and everybody pretty much knows by now. So maybe they just go through with it, or they like push the date back maybe like, I don't know, a day. I don't know. Maybe it wouldn't really make a whole difference because everybody pretty much knows it's happening anyway. So anyway, that's not gonna do it. What did we talk about? Jeff Hardy's license has been suspended for 10 years. That's a long time. I don't really think he's going to be worrying about driving anywhere for quite some time now. He's not in jail as far as I can tell, unless I'm not reading it properly. If he is in jail, okay, good. That's fine. He's out of harm's way. He's not harming himself. He's not harming other people. You know what I mean? To be fair, this doesn't necessarily stop him from drinking. It just stops him from drinking and driving. So hopefully he's getting the help that he needs. And, you know, Matt Hardy's, what's the word? Keeping him on the right track and everything. But, you know, if there's anything, like I said, that's going to come out of this, I'm glad that, you know, his license, you know, has been suspended. And we don't have to worry again about him getting himself in any harm's way, especially when it comes to, you know, something as dangerous as a vehicle. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens potentially are teaming up. I don't know if it seems like that's the potential pathway that they're going to be taking. Like I said, we've got a long way to go before we get to WrestleMania. We don't necessarily have to see anything happening as of right now. Like I said, closer we get, more we're going to see. What is Solo, how Solo and Jay and all that sort of stuff going to play into this. We got to find out as like everything happens. At the time of this recording tonight is SmackDown. I'm potentially expecting something to be coming out of that. So keep your eyes peeled for any storylines involving, Bloodline, and, you get the idea at this point. And Forbidden Door 2 is more than likely going to be happening June 24th. Mark your calendars. Ooh, there you go. Mark your calendars there. That's right. So, yeah, we're potentially going to be getting the matches that we didn't get last year, and there's going to be more matches that that's more than likely going to be built for the future. And I was personally thinking, like, oh, does this mean that this is going to be a normal thing, or does this mean that this is going to be the start to something else? You know what I mean? So I don't necessarily know. I don't have the, like the what if machine from Futurama. I don't have that. So we're just going to have to wait and see what happens. Folks, that's going to do it for this episode. Hopefully everybody has a wonderful tonight and a wonderful tomorrow. As always, big hugs. Big hugs all around.